I do and I don't want to be in a British tradition. There's a kind of British tradition that I am happy to be part of, which I think is more pop or sort of rock and roll or whatever, less so art. I actually went to art school to be in a band, but then I kind of learned the language of art. In a way, I'm trying to undo that learning. I'm trying to unlearn what I learned through art, but you know, I have a foot in both camps, and I feel sometimes I feel like I'm doing the splits. I've just made a piece called Dream English Kid. A lot of it was to do with the sort of anxieties I felt as a child. So I make a lot of things to get them out of my head and put them in front of me, so I can then sort of examine them. I both examine them and to kind of exercise them as well. I made Fiorucci Made Me Hardcore to kind of exercise a sort of a nostalgia that was quite crippling. Not crippling, that's too dramatic, but I just wanted to rid myself of it. But it's still, you know, I'm still sort of, I still have tendencies towards melancholic nostalgia. So it never works, but ultimately in the end it's productive, and that's all I'm looking for, is something that generates work. In 2013, I came up with this idea called the universal addressability of dumb things. I just got a smartphone, and at that time everything seemed very kind of magical, and everything seemed to conjure up a sort of pre-modern world where things that shouldn't be alive seem to have life and seem to be able to communicate, you know, in a very ancestral way, like an idea of like rocks or trees or foxes being able to kind of talk. And so the show was sort of about that, about things having kind of these magical technical properties. I think when I'm making anything, it's kind of rhetorical. Like I'm making an argument, essentially. I'm making an argument for this thing or this sensation. So I'm aware in that sense. I'm trying to coax people, or I'm trying to tickle them, or I'm trying to seduce them in some way. So there's that, but also it's the same as making music. There's a sort of assumption that the audience that you're making the music for have the same kind of archive or library that you carry around with you, and you're kind of triggering that. It's the same, it's like sampling, it's like, you know, it's that condensed power that you know, will trigger this sensation, this shared sensation. I mean, ultimately that's what I want. It's a kind of, I want people to get lost in the same things that I get lost in.